This time, we will be capturing me falling out of a car.
We're rolling away! No! No!
Peter demonstrates one of his latest investments. And Morgan, well, he disappears. Hello and welcome to this episode of Capture. You may have already noticed that we're not in the most scenic of places. That's because we've come to an abandoned high school in Offerton in Stockport. Yeah, we're making the series a bit more local to where we're all from, which is Stockport. But we thought we'd come somewhere that isn't new, somewhere that's had its day, and I didn't realise it'd still be here. The school shut down in 2012. The building, as you can see, is still here today. Reminds me of communism. Yes, some people don't like these buildings and they're very boring to look at, but I love how in the 50s and 60s they just wanted to build things and have done with it. I mean, this school, when I look at it, just makes me think that, oh, let's stick a corridor there, and oh, let's stick a bit more there because we need a bit more room, and that's just what it is. It's just a mess of things stuck together. Well, it looks like before they boarded it up, it may have got broken into. There's glass everywhere here. It's not a very good place to bring your children. But, you know, I just thought we'd start off the episode here because it's something of the past, and it's something that, well, it might not be here for much longer. They might build houses here, or a shop, or... well, that's probably it, really. But it's just interesting. It interests me because I used to actually come here when I used to play an instrument, the trumpet, in a brass band, and that was many years ago. So it's strange to come back here. But that was even after the school shut down. That was in about 2013 that I came here. The school was already closed at that point. Just this bit of the building was part of Stockport Music Service, which have now moved over there in that direction to another building. But it's strange being here. It does remind me of Chernobyl. Really, really does. And we'd love to be able to get inside, but there's just no way to do that. We might contact the council, maybe we could revisit it. They might let us in, but due to the HSE and health and safety, they probably won't let us in. But we must move on, and as you know, our presenter, Peter, sometimes buys a lot of second-hand things, such as film cameras, and they're not always that very good. So, on this occasion, he's bought a car. Well, not a real car, but one that didn't really impress me and Luke. Well, you could put it there.
So you could put it on the spoiler and see.
I haven't got, like...
Yeah, put it on the spoiler and then you can see it then.
Okay, how am I... okay.
Well, you can see the car.
Where's...
Well, no, because then... I don't know.
I don't know either.
This is very hard.
It is.
Do you have an idea?
Don't take that out of context.
I gave my suggestion to just put it on the spoiler, but it's merely a suggestion.
What, getting it like back there? It'd be better if we could have it like out here, but what if we got anything to stick it out there with?
Mount it to your spanner. Oh, that's a wrench.
Exactly. That's a ratchet.
Ratchet it is.
I do have a spanner, but not... no point
Yeah, there's one in a leather coat just in front of you.
Ah.
It's funny because it's him.
Oh.
You hit one of the leather coat.
But it's a question of whether we have it there and stick it like pointing straight down, or if you want it to film over the bumps, we have got the base plate for it, so we can stick it down next to one of them and see if it gets in the air.
Direct the shit.
Yeah, direct the shit.
But if you want to get the air, is it going to get air?
Yeah, probably. Goes fast enough.
It's going to get air, isn't it?
It will.
Start it all the way over there and just...
So we should have just set it up on the ground on the base plate and then...
Yeah.
As it was appearing to be quite hard to figure out a film idea for Peter's new car, we decided to talk about something else. You can build a house with Lego bricks as well, apparently.
Okay, I'm not going to
James
try...
made it years
Should we
ago.
try that, actually?
Yeah.
You know,
No, there's these big ones, like you can divide your rooms in your house.
I want them.
It's a good idea.
What, Lego blocks?
So your mum just wakes up in the morning with a tiny bedroom and you've got a massive
But
one.
except,
I don't know,
what about if the end of your room...
Luke, here's the best idea ever.
Because the Lego bricks are only
Pixels.
certain size, so if one of them was smaller... Then you can have a gap at the end of the wall.
Stick it out. You use actual little bricks just to fill in gaps.
Or you could, oh yeah, or the little one.
It'd be good if I could get around there, but I just can't get.
Or you could fill it up with like loads of pillows. Not long after our boring conversation had ended, Peter managed to finally sort out his toy car, and then asked me to make a dramatic film about it. So I did. Peter became very bored. In fact, he got that bored, he decided to move down south and own a hot air balloon museum. This unfortunately didn't do very well, as people were visiting the museum next door, the Museum of Candles in Italy from 1905 to 1909. So unfortunately, Peter had to shut down his hot air balloon museum. Therefore, he moved back up north and managed to afford some camouflage clothing, but that meant that we couldn't find him again, so we just did something else instead. One day though, Peter decided to wear normal trousers, and that is when we discovered him. Unfortunately, he wasn't in a very good state, and was still blabbering on about his car that he wanted. We all clubbed together, and finally bought him a car, and then the car exploded, which meant he had to downsize and buy a toy car instead. And this is what he does now, plays with his toy car, and shows off in front of his friends that don't care. Okay, maybe that wasn't slightly what happened, but it doesn't matter because now we must show you the final footage of what Peter managed to do with his toy car. Unfortunately, after all the years of waiting that Peter did, the car broke down within 48 seconds, and that was the end of that.
Can I get much?
See, that's perfectly happy, yeah.
It's working better with no spark plug.
That was a change
Yeah.
in noise. That was a change in
It's
noise.
taking
Yeah,
the
there's
gap.
no spark plug in it.
That doesn't make sense. You've broken it.
So within 5 minutes,
He's broken it.
it's broke.
Yeah. It ingested a bit of water and now it's broken.
God, it's got France mode.
Wait,
Why has it got France mode on it?
Your controller has France mode,
France mode.
and it means it just goes in reverse. I mean, that's what I interpret.
But why does it have French mode?
Normal, not French. Even the people who make this, even the Chinese agree that French aren't normal.
In conclusion then, me and Luke now look like two chavs, Peter's car doesn't work, and we've discovered it has a French mode. Apart from that, don't buy a second-hand car from the internet, and that's all we can pretty much say from this film. Well, after exploring the grounds, we've managed to see through some of the holes. Unfortunately, the camera lens doesn't really get through them very well. But there's a few tables and chairs and a few whiteboards with the actual writing still on them. That's interesting. So it's kind of, you know, it's just everyone left and now it's just abandoned, obviously, and it's very strange. I suppose if people actually came to this high school and came back, they'd have more stories to tell you. But unfortunately, I have nothing to say apart from what I'm seeing now. But anyway, let's move on the episode from the abandoned stuff to something a bit more interesting. Over the past 5 months, in the second series of Capture, we visited some wonderful places to create our photography films in each episode. We started off with the Clym Peninsula in North Wales. We then visited the city of Paris in France and explored one of the reservoirs at Saddleworth Moor. So where could we go to conclude our journey? where could we go to sum up our adventures in this series? It had to be somewhere absolutely stunning. Well, this is Grasmere, where you can get your gingerbread, and I'm stood on... Well, actually, no, it's not a grave, but it's an area where William Wordsworth is buried, and he wrote poems about daffodils and various other flowers and all that. But it's where we start our photography film for this episode. Well, we are at another part of Stockport now, specifically the town centre, where there isn't anything that's abandoned, and we're actually somewhere that's brand new. Red Rock, which has been building since the end of 2015, is finally pretty much complete. Well, by the time you're watching this, it will already be open. New cinema and new restaurants are going to be opening on the 24th of November. And to be honest, this is absolutely brilliant because nothing's happened in the town centre that's been this big for quite some time. We've got the new Stockport Exchange at the other side of Stockport, where there's some brilliant cafes and a brilliant welcoming sort of design to the area, and a new square to Stockport, or if you're getting off the train, of course, that's brilliant. But now there's some new places to go and eat with your family and friends, and a new place to have an interesting, exciting time in the cinema just over there, which is going to be completed in a few days. Well, you're probably thinking, why do we care? And, well, maybe you are if you don't live in Stockport. But if you do live in Stockport, you should be excited, because nothing's happened here for such a long time, and this is a big thing for the town. Well, being down there on street level, you can really see everything is coming together. And that's what we want from Stockport. We want something new and exciting, and that's what we've got from Red Rock. Anyway, we're going to move on now to the rest of the episode. And I've basically thought, if you've got a car, why not review the car? Why not give a proper review like they do on these adverts and stuff? Anyway, so I thought I'd give a review of the Mazda 2 and take it to some countryside and sort of big it up a bit, you know. Well, we had a little bit of time and a bit of money left from this series to make this. So let's ask some questions and see if we can answer them, and professionally. You see, with this type of car, you can come to this kind of place with your can of Rio and park it up and look at the view. You see, when you've got a vehicle, such as a car or a van or whatever else, you can come to these kind of places where you normally can't, or you'd have to walk and it would be a pain. And you can look at the view, maybe paint a picture, or just take a photograph, or of course open your can and just stand here for a few hours and look at what the British countryside has to offer. So I'm going to do that right now. Got a bit of it on my top. Now when you've finished your can and been here for a good few hours, and painted your picture and God knows what else, you can, obviously there's no bins in the countryside, and it's obviously wrong to litter. I must enforce that. So what you can do in this car is, of course, put your can in the door sort of pocket or bin or whatever people call it, and dispose of it when you get back home. So of course that is a key feature of the vehicle. This version of the car is the Tamura, which of course I have no idea what that means, but what I can see is that it has a spoiler, windscreen wiper on the back just in case of dirt and flying objects. Well, yes, clearly does. It's well, it's blue. We are obviously not going to use any editing skills whatsoever for this and summon our presenter, Morgan Howard. Well, clearly, he does fit in the boot.
So do you still need me?
No. Just head about 10 miles in that direction.
Can't I get the lift?
No. I've not finished yet. This is my film.
Oh, okay.
Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me.
I can't see. I fit a cow. No, I fit no. Oh, crashed into the wall. Oh, God. It's like a bomb's gonna go off. Oh, shit.
We're rolling away!
No. Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, goodbye.